said. When you're a set fighter, a complete fighter, you can do everything. 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 You can't just depend on one punch. What happens when the one punch don't work? You gotta rely on something else. Come on, bro.
But he does talk like really arrogant shit. And he is a little bit like that in person, ever since amateurs just walking around like, his shit don't stink. And it pisses me off. Like, I was in Vegas one day talking to his friend Keyshawn. We were having a great time, great conversation. I simply said, "Hey, yo, Shakur, come over, blah, blah, blah." He goes and just looks at me and goes, "Nah, you got to come over here." Like, some arrogant. I'm like, bro, what is that? We're all just trying to, figure it out. It's just like, you don't got to act like that, bro. Honestly, he didn't fight good at all. He was scared. He didn't fight. It's so biased. That commentary is disgusting. If Shakur don't throw a lot of punches, he's controlling the fight. If somebody else don't throw a lot of punches, it's, oh, man, he's reluctant. Oh, he's hesitant. It's just so biased. Like, I can't even watch ESPN fights no more. I really can't. It's so disgusting.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So you heard Ryan Garcia give his take on the whole situation with Shakur Stevenson versus Edwin De Los Santos. Ryan, he accused ESPN's commentary team of being biased towards Shakur Stevenson. Let's go ahead and make the correction. ESPN has never been biased in favor of Shakur Stevenson. It has been the complete contrary. You see, what Ryan Garcia was basically saying is they should have been calling Shakur Stevenson boring. They should have been saying this is not entertaining, et cetera, et cetera. But the reason why they didn't do that in this fight is because of the backlash they received when they did it in the Shakur Stevenson versus Nakatalia fight. I remember in that fight, Tim Bradley and Joe Tessitore, they were calling a fight, and I would say all the way to probably around the 6th or the 7th round, they hadn't said anything negative about Shakur Stevenson. It wasn't until Mark Kriegel, who wasn't even calling the fight, he either sent out some message to the team or some tweet, but they end up reading it. And Mark Kriegel, he says to Shakur Stevenson, "Don't get mad when fans start calling you boring." And then he says some other stuff. And that set the tone for the rest of the night, because right after he said that, Tim Bradley, he completely followed Mark Kriegel's lead, and he started constantly calling Shakur Stevenson boring. He started saying, "Man, I'm over here falling asleep." And he continuously kept saying these things for the rest of the night. It was complete overkill, especially when you compare Stevenson's performance to Santos to his performance against Nakatalia. So Tim Bradley in particular, he caught a lot of backlash for doing that. And you could tell in this fight, no matter how this fight looked, you could tell Tim Bradley, he refused to call Shakur Stevenson boring again. And that's what Ryan Garcia was really saying. He was saying, why aren't they calling him boring? Why aren't they saying what they said about him when he fought against Nakatalia? Well, the reason why they didn't do that is because they didn't want to come off as looking extremely biased. Because we all know, with the thousands of fights that ESPN's commentary had called, they had never called a fighter that was not black a boring fighter. Just like ESPN had never put up stats on the screen of how many times a fighter clinched until Devin Haney fought George Kambosos. And what was so funny about that is they didn't even show stats of how many times Kambosos was clinching. And Kambosos was initiating a lot of the clinches. And I never heard Ryan Garcia say they were biased for that, even when they put up a graphic showing Lomachenko as undefeated when he had a loss on his record. It's only when they don't call Shakur Stevenson boring, that's when Ryan decides to say that ESPN is biased. The commentary is biased. We know what time it is. But listening to the exchange that Ryan had with Shakur Stevenson, what stands out to me the most is while Ryan Garcia is criticizing Shakur Stevenson, he doesn't say anything to imply that he's a better fighter, that he would beat Shakur Stevenson. Now, Ryan Garcia is fighting at 140 now, but still, the fact that there is a fighter that people are saying is pound for pound one of the best fighters in the world, and he's being compared to Floyd Mayweather, et cetera, this is usually the time when other fighters call that fighter out to say, I can beat this guy, even if he is one weight class below him. Perfect example is Gennady Golovkin calling out Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez calling out Floyd Mayweather. So this kind of speaks to the point that I made when I made my post-fight video for Stevenson versus Santos, when I said, despite the fact that this was a poor performance by Shakur Stevenson, he's still going to be very difficult to beat because you have to overcommit. You have to put yourself in harm's way to even land punches on Shakur. This is what happened with Santos. Early in that fight, Santos, he got caught with a couple of check hooks when he tried to jump in. And despite the fact that Santos had a lot of power, that made him reluctant for the entire night. You know, usually when a fighter looks flawed, he looks beatable, that's when everyone starts to call him out because now they have more confidence that they can beat him. But we're not really hearing a lot of fighters. And when I say a lot of fighters, I'm talking about like a Ryan Garcia, a Lomachenko, a Raymond Marataya, the man that Tim Bradley said was the most dangerous fighter in the division next to Shakur Stevenson. I still believe a lot of these fighters, not all of them, but a lot of these fighters, they're still looking at Shakur Stevenson just as dangerous as they looked at him before the Santos fight. But I will say this, Shakur Stevenson's next fight, unless he takes a tune-up bout, his next fight is most likely going to be another dangerous fight. I believe he has one more fight left on Top Rank, and Top Rank has fighters like Navarrete, Raymond Marataya, Lomachenko, and Jermaine Ortiz. And I truly believe all of those opponents would be very, very tough challenges for Shakur Stevenson. Hopefully one of those guys will be his next opponent. With that being said, I'm gonna wrap this video up. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes,
Fever blisters, diabetic ulcers.
this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo Deki Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodeki.com.
Like them on Facebook and follow them on Instagram.
Let me tell you guys about Issa Israel Law Firm. It is a full-service legal practice based in Denver, Colorado, an emerging hub for combat sports and high-altitude training. If you're a fighter inside or outside of the ring and you need a law firm you can trust to fight for you, visit thefighterfirm.com or email help@iilawfirm.com. Legal representation is usually limited to plaintiffs or defendants in Colorado, but iFirm can help anyone in the world with trademarking their business name, logos, and U.S. immigration issues. This brother has been my attorney for a while and helped guide me through all kinds of business and civil issues, so make sure you guys go to thefighterfirm.com.
An important message from Youth Fountain Laboratory, makers of Vasoflux and Vasoflux for Men. If you're over the age of 35 and over the years you've eaten pizza, dairy foods, deli meats, or meats with fat, you are likely to have some degree of plaque buildup in your veins and arteries. This increases your risk of suffering a stroke or heart attack exponentially, and no one wants such a catastrophic event to occur. Introducing Blackout. Blackout is made of all natural ingredients proven to help dissolve clots in the blood, remove calcium deposits and plaque from the walls of veins and arteries, improve viscosity of the blood, improve elasticity of the veins and arteries, treat varicose veins, and prevent the reoccurrence of plaque buildup. For more information, visit Youth Fountain Laboratory at youthfountainlab.com or call 1-800-853-7856. And remember, to help unclog veins and arteries, get the Blackout.